The following program is a special feature of HE Productions, your family values champion in Alabama. The views and opinions in this program do not reflect those of the staff, management, and ownership of this station.
Coming up on this edition of the Hank Erwin Show, we're going to talk with a Southern California pastor who's visiting Birmingham to promote what he calls his religious Bill of Rights. His name is Pastor Emil Haddad. He's from the Los Angeles area, and he is in Birmingham to promote true religion, freedom of a religion around the world. We're going to talk with him today. Emil Haddad, my special guest. Stay with us. And a very pleasant good day to you, everyone, and welcome into another edition of my show. I'm Hank Erwin, and glad to have you along on another outstanding day in the state of Alabama. Always good to talk to you, and I hope all is well with your family. We want to introduce you today to a Southern California pastor who's visiting Alabama to promote his religious Bill of Rights, his religious resolution of rights that is really turning the world upside down. It's very low-key here in the United States, but around the world it is having ripple effects all around the world. And I wanted to profile this document today on the show and let you know what's going on, so if you ever hear about it or people ask you about it, you'll know exactly what's going on. One of the things that we do on this show is we try to give you information you can't get on any other TV show in Birmingham or Alabama, and let you have exclusive information that you can use in your particular church groups or social groups that you hang around with, and you'll be able to chat about subjects that we bring up on this show, and people will say, how did you know that? Where did you get that? And you'll be able to become a VIP, very important person, because you'll know things that a lot of people elsewhere don't know. So we're going to profile this document right here. It's a religious resolution. This is a little bit about it. It is a 17-point original document. There has not been anything devised like this in close to 1,000 years, because it's like a religious Bill of Rights. It's unheard of around the world. Now, I will say this, here in the United States of America, we're used to the fact of freedom of religion. That's part of our Bill of Rights here. But outside of the United States, when you go outside the United States, this is a foreign concept. You can go into other countries of the world and there's no such thing as freedom of religion, and if you try to do that, they'll cut your neck off. You know, so this is one of the things that we want to talk about, the possibilities of trying to bring the concept of freedom of religion here in America and take it to the rest of the world and see what happens. Now, I say all of that to say this, that a Southern California pastor has been given this mission from the Lord to do this. He's with me in the studio today. His name is Pastor Emil Haddad. He's with the Bellflower Church of God in the Los Angeles area. He's visiting Birmingham. He's come all the way from Los Angeles to be with us today on the show to give you an update of what he's doing and what kind of impact it's having around the world. So I think you're going to find this fascinating, and I think when you see the rest of the show, you're going to say, I'd like to sign on that document too and be one of the supporters of it. And we're going to tell you how you can do that in just a little bit later in the show. So I want you to stay with us. We're talking about this religious resolution, a Bill of Rights for the rest of the world, and I think you'll really appreciate it. So Pastor Emil Haddad, welcome to the show. Welcome to Birmingham.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming. This is your first visit to Birmingham?
Yes, indeed. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we are delighted to have you in our Magic City and hope you have a good time while you're here.
Thank you.
Now, you have a Jordanian background.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about how you came to become the pastor of a Christian church from a Jordanian background.
Well, actually, I came from Jordan in 1965 to Canada. And after spending 18 years in Canada, I was sent back to the Middle East as a pastor as well. My background is a Christian from Jordan. Like, I did not become Christian. I was Christian always. And from Canada, I went back to the Middle East for about 4 years till 1988. And then back to Los Angeles area, where I went to seminary. I finished my my master's in practical theology, and started pastoring a church there in California. And my passion is to have integrative ministry. Like our church, we glad you have visited
Yes,
2 years ago, and you preached there, and the people still remember you. Our church, I like to see it as multiple ethnic congregations, international, all kind of backgrounds. So long as they can speak one language, they can worship together. I am married. I have 3 children, 5 grandchildren, and still pastoring the church in Bellflower, and president and co-founder of Ambassadors for Peace.
Ambassadors for Peace.
Yes.
That's the name of the official organization. You're very fluent in Arabic.
Yes, that's my mother tongue.
That's your mother tongue.
Yes.
How did you know? You grew up in Jordan, which is a very Islamic country by
Yes.
nature.
Yes.
How did you become a Christian? What's the story? You grew up as a Christian. Did that mean that your mother or your dad were Christians originally, and then you grew up in a home like that?
This is some misunderstanding sometimes in the West, Senator, that people think all the people come from the Middle East are Muslims. Well, let us remember, Christianity started at the time of Christ in Jordan and Palestine, that region. So our ancestors are always Christians, yes.
So you made a commitment to Christ when you were a young boy.
Yes, indeed. I was, I think, about 10 years old when my mother first heard the gospel. She became Christians, as we call them, born-again Christians, not traditional Christians. Yes, that's a long time ago.
I like that idea, born-again
Yes.
Christian.
That's
good.
what we call them.
And I've had the joy of being able to preach in his church in Los Angeles several years ago, and I had a wonderful time. A very sweet church, and it's located there in Southern California, and we had a great time. But since that, a lot of things have happened since we've been out there. And you had just established Ambassadors for Peace. What is that all about?
Indeed, I think if you recall, we had dinner together with Gary Ansdell, who's the co-founder also with me, my partner, I call him. It started actually in the year 2000, when my cousin, who is a poet and a writer, his name is Isa Batarse, and a friend of his, who is also a good poet, very well known, Hikmet, they used to have a meeting every month. They call it the Wednesday meeting. And what they do, those intellectuals, they bring different speakers on different subjects. That they may bring space engineer or scientists to talk about the space or the constellations, or bring cardiologists to talk about the heart. But this time they asked me to come and speak about peaceful living between Christians and Muslims. And I said, what are you talking about? We live in America, there is no problem here. They said, no, we wanted to speak about this subject. So I came and spoke about the subject, how to live in peace with other people who don't follow your religion. It was well taken, and since then, the 2000, the idea started to ferment in my mind. If we live in America, and there is a need to bring a concept or principles for people to live in peace together in America, therefore it's needed around the world. And then 9/11 happened. A year later. 9/11, of course, brought so much media about Islam, against Islam, with Islam. People became confused, and I said, there is something for us to talk about. I talked to several people about the idea, but I did not find much people catching it. So I met with Gary Ansdell, whom we ministered together in the same area. And as soon as we met together, he said, you know what? I have been thinking of this for a long time. So then he drew the charter and the points, and we start promoting it. And when you came, it was the first time we ever talked to official about it.
Is that right?
Yes.
And a lot of things have happened since then. So it's called Ambassadors for Peace is the organization.
Yes, and we call it the Religious Rights Resolution.
Religious Rights Resolution.
Yes. And
17 points resolution.
Yes.
And the idea is to call for dialogue rather than violence. Is
Exactly.
that the idea?
So if there is a chance, is it time now to give just highlights of this resolution? Or
Go ahead and start that, and then we'll continue. Give a little idea of maybe the first few concepts in your resolution.
Okay. Well, first of all, we say this resolution is motivated by the existence of religious hate crime. That is to say, whenever you turn the TV on, you hear the news, you see the news, you read the news, you always hear about religious hate crimes and violence in the name of religion. So that is the biggest motivation for this resolution, is to deal with violence and hate crimes that are committed by the name of religion. And what we say also, the resolution puts in writing what leaders from all walks of religious beliefs have given verbal assent to it. I have not met a religious leader yet who say he doesn't like peace, but it was always verbal. There is no commitment. We talk about it, but doesn't go further. So we decided that we put it in writing, so we'll become more accountable to our words of peace.
I like that. Now hold that thought. We're going to continue visiting with Pastor Emil Haddad. He is from the Bellflower Church of God out in Los Angeles. He's my special guest on the show today as we continue talking about the religious rights resolution that has turned many people outside the United States upside down, because it seeks to bring freedom of religion to the entire world. The concept that we normally are used to in the United States, he wants to try to bring it to the entire world, and it's quite an ambitious project, and there's some exciting things happening about this whole document. So we're going to continue profiling it. We want you to stay with us on today's edition of the Hank Erwin Show. Remember, we're broadcasting live on Charter Cable Channel 6 in Birmingham, Channel 99 in Montgomery, Channel 2 in Alexander City, and also on the internet at WBIRlive.com. So stay with us on the show. Welcome back. Hank Erwin right here with you. Glad to have you along on our daily get-together. We are talking about Ambassadors for Peace today. That's the organization that is the brainchild of my special guest in the studio today, Pastor Emil Haddad from Southern California. He's with the Bellflower Church of God in Southern California. He's visiting Birmingham today. It's his first ever visit to the Magic City to talk about this document right here, which is his religious rights resolution. This is the document that is being talked about around the world. And outside the United States of America, it is really having ripple effects that people are talking about everywhere. You can go to the internet and look it up and peruse it yourself. Simply dial in www.am and then the letter 4 and then peace.com. You can see it on your screen right now, Ambassadors for Peace, and that is a little bit of the background where you can get the information there and read it for yourself. I think you'll find it very fascinating, and I wanted you to hear more about it so that as you talk to your friends and neighbors and they ask about this, you'll be able to tell them you know the inside story. So we're talking with Pastor Emil Haddad. Now, before we do the rest of the document, some people would say, Pastor, are you trying to establish a one-world church with this, or what's the idea?
I think this is the catch. Several people, they really challenge us. They said, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to mix religions together, like bring Islam, Christianity, and Hinduism, Judaism, put it in the blender and push the button, make one cocktail drink, this is a new religion? No, absolutely not. We are far from that. I want people to understand this is not a ecumenical movement. Because after 9/11, several church leaders, Muslim leaders, they get together and they start to sing the song that we worship one God and we are all one religion, let's get together. It's like Barney's style, happy family. That's not our goal. Our goal that every religion has its own distinction, his own doctrine. And sometimes, or most of the time, even though we have common ground with many religions, we can't deny that, but there are differences. So what happened, people start to look the other way from differences and look at the common ground, and that make you lose the truth. So that's why we made this statement. We said this resolution does not seek to be political nor ecumenical. clearly. It does not intend to convert or compare nor interpret religions. It is not racially or nationally oriented. What we are focusing is not the religion, the people of different religions, that they must learn how to judge each other based upon their own character, not to have preconceived idea about the person because he is a Muslim, that you take a different stand from him, or he's a Christian, you look at him different way. That's not the point. The point, you deal with every individual as being created in the image of God, equal to you, no matter what you believe in. And I want to clarify the word ecumenical. Ecumenical, these movements that bring all religions together, we are not. I say with capital letter, not, N-O-T. We are trying to do is that people must look at each other as equal rights created in the image of God. And also we recognize some other facts. We understand and we agree there are extremes in every religion. There is no religion is exempt from it. There are extremes. However, the way extremism is being expressed has different forms. Sometimes it comes by being prejudiced against somebody else. Sometimes by psychological intimidation. Sometimes by physical violence. So we are saying clearly here, therefore we agree that violence of any kind to exercise religion, religious point, or to cause conversion is unacceptable. We have to be clear in that one. That the solution for the difference in your faith and my faith has to be peaceful dialogue, not violence.
Yeah.
That's what we are seeking.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I don't have any problem with that. The idea of, you know, you tell me about your religion, let me tell you about my Jesus, and then just let you make your own decision without any kind of force or intimidation or insinuation or pressure.
That's right.
That's what you're trying to do?
Exactly. And I don't find too many people, religious leaders, are against it. We have been blessed to see so many people around the world responding positively about it. And also there's a very important point that we have to bring up, is that we believe that each religion lived out by individuals or an organization has the right to peacefully present its view of theology, people, and the hereafter. All. We believe all have the same rights to exercise their faith, debate, dialogue, do whatever you want, so long as there is no violence in the middle.
Yeah.
That's
well, I think that to me is a no-brainer. I think it's to me a fair concept of being able to just say, let's just talk about it rather than fight about it. I think that's the key.
Then we came with one very, this is, I think, will conclude my overview with the document, because people can read it on the internet, or they could call us, or they reach us by email for any question. Like here, a couple main points. We say men and women everywhere have the God-given right to convert or not convert to any religion without harm from any other religion or national politic. God created man to be free in his own image, to make his choices. And we find many people around the world, they say that the religious choice must be personal experience. And if the person, Senator, is not free in his soul, how can his mind be free? You know, we talk about freedom of speech, freedom of thought and opinion. I believe you cannot have free thoughts and accurate thinking without your soul being free to worship God the way you are sent to worship. Then we say every seeker has the right to enter a religious service for their own exploration of knowledge. Like people, we give them rights to come and dialogue with the other person, know about his faith and know about my faith, and let us understand each other, accept each other to exist. Yet we see the distinction between your faith and my faith. We not try to mix them together. And want to conclude with one beautiful statement. We therefore assert that all people have a divine right to share what they know and to live at peace with the result.
Yeah.
This is what.
I think it's a wonderful document. You know, I can see that God was behind this because of the way he gave it to you and Gary Ansdale out in Southern California, who is a pastor of another charismatic church out in Southern California. And it's a remarkable thing that y'all have come up with. And as I understand it, there's been no document like this in over 1,000 years.
Up till now, I heard it from many scholars, which will cover some of the places we visited. They say they've never seen such a precise, accurate, or clear document presented to different religious leaders. They have been meeting for so many times. And when they meet, let's dialogue. About what?
Mm-hmm.
What is the result of dialogue?
Yeah.
You bring point of view, I bring point of mind. What's also the result of debates? We debate. But if the individual has no choice,
mm-hmm.
or our debates are showing just the eloquence of those speakers and scholars, but the individual is poor guy, has no right to worship God the way he believes it.
We're going to continue visiting with Pastor Emil Haddad. He is my special guest today. We're talking about his religious rights resolution. Stay with us on today's edition of the Hank Erwin Show. Welcome back. Hank Erwin right here with you. Glad to have you along on our daily get-together. We are talking about this document right here called a Religious Rights Resolution that is the brainchild of my guest on the set today, Pastor Emil Haddad. He is the co-founder of Ambassadors for Peace out in Southern California. He, along with his co-founder Gary Ansdale, Reverend Gary Ansdale, put together this 17-point religious rights resolution that they're taking around the world to seek to try to establish freedom of religion around the world. Outside the United States, folks, it doesn't exist. We're so used to it, and we're kind of spoiled by it. It does not compute to us to think in terms of that, there's no such thing as freedom of religion. We think that should be just normal. Well, it's not normal. And if you try to go, for example, if you try to take a Bible into Saudi Arabia, or try to wear a cross, or try to even find a church in Saudi Arabia, you can't find it. They won't allow it. In any of the Muslim countries, Christianity is outlawed. You might be able to do it quietly to yourself in your own house, secretly, but to have a true freedom of religion in countries like that, it doesn't exist. And it's just not in the Middle East. It's around the rest of the world, in China, in Indonesia, in India, places like that. The idea of different religions having the opportunity to tell their story without violence is unheard of. So this document seeks to do that. You can go to the internet and you can read it. You can dial it up on the internet at www.am4peace.com. You can see it on the TV screen right there. Dial it up and read it for yourself. Pastor Emil Haddad is in the studio to give you further detail about it, but I think it's something you need to know about. What's been the early reaction, Pastor, around the world? Matter of fact, we got some pictures to show. Some pictures,
yes, indeed.
I want to show some of these pictures, and you kind of add some commentary to them.
Exactly, sure.
So let's go to some of the pictures, and this one here.
And here is the key, Senator. When we visit a country or religious leader in the country, we don't come and assume there is persecution.
Mm-hmm.
We come with the positive thought. We come to them in the word of peace. Now, this picture here, to my right, is the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar al-Sharif in Cairo, Egypt. He is the highest authority in Islam as far as the interpretation of the Quran and the Hadith and understanding Islam. In a way, to put it in perspective, similar to the Pope in the Vatican.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have it Pope, but similar, just to put in perspective. To his right, the one with the gray robe, Dr. Fawzi Al-Zafzaf, he is the head of the Religious Dialogue Department. Both of them, they were in Al-Azhar al-Sharif. That was in April 2005. We went there and we presented him with our document.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a beautiful dialogue with the Grand Imam. I said, your virtue, we have not come here for religious debate. Because we do understand that debate is to prove your point of view.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing, we have not come to unify our religions. because they don't work. You cannot unify all religions together because there are major differences. Therefore, if we started to think to unify our religions, who has the authority to do that? Are you with me? We can't unify it. Therefore, we have come with one principle, that people to be free to believe what they believe, dialogue together in peace, and be free. His answer was, there is no compulsion in religion, no force in religion, and different religions must not be cause of hatred among the people, but rather to call them for cooperation and help one another. That's his own words as they're documented. And then he, second picture please, the...
Yeah, let's go back to the pictures here. We add some commentary. This one.
We presented him with a plaque as a man of peace. We really appreciate him. He was cordial, he was sincere, he was very kind and loving. And the second one, please. And here in the office, this is Gary Anzer to my right, and myself, and Dr. Zafzaf, who is the head of the religious dialogue. He was told by the Grand Imam, who is higher than him, to sign it in the name of the institution, Al-Azhar al-Sharif. We're very happy about this movement. And so we left Egypt, and this is the signed document.
That's in Arabic?
It's in Arabic, of course. We can't translate it to English right now. Even though the document, you can read it in English, Arabic, Spanish, and Farsi in our website, 4 languages. But of course, when you sign the Arabic, you can translate the signatures, but we keep it authentic as they are.
Right.
So this was the visit to Egypt.
And that was the visit to Egypt. Now this picture right here.
Now this one here, last August, I went visited Kuwait. Several people you see here are writers. And let me explain something to you that's really strange. Those are liberals. Now when you say the word liberal in America, that means they are against the conservatives.
Yeah.
Well, no, the liberals, they believe in freedom of speech, freedom of religion.
That's in Kuwait.
In Kuwait.
Okay.
And they are very well-known writers. Like, for instance, the first one to my left is Dr. Daoud. He's general physician. Myself, then to my right, is Dr. Ahmed Baghdadi. Dr. Ahmed Baghdadi is a professor in Islam and philosophy. And he writes weekly article in California and in Kuwait. And his theme always of freedom. Always his theme is the freedom of the individual to believe what they believe, to be free. Then next to him is Mahmoud Karam, who is another writer who always... No, back up a little bit, please. The first one. Yes, Mahmoud Karam is the one who writes also about the freedom of religion. And his statement is that religious freedom must be the choice of the individual. Beside him is Hassan Fakhr. He is the editor-in-chief of the Newsweek Arabic. And beside him, another engineer. The middle one is Talib al-Mawli. He is a professor of Arabic language. They were all in agreement with us. Now, we go to the next one, please. And this is in one of the Diwanis, they call them, member of parliament, Ali Dibari. They have a speaker every week to come and present a thought or a case or idea, whatever it is. And that day in Kuwait, I had the chance to bring AM for Peace to those people there. They are editors of newspapers, writers, members of the government, officials, and so forth. And they received my presentation very well. They were and agree into the resolution. And what is strange about it is when I told them that I was one of the people who entered Kuwait in 1961 when Abdul Karim Qasim, the president of Iraq, was going to take Kuwait. I went with the Jordanian army to prevent him from doing that.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was a good contact actually. I love those Kuwaiti people. They are beautiful people. And here, this is the Al-Watan newspaper. They gave us good coverage. And in the top it says that the Muslim evangelist has right to go and present Islam to Christians. And the Christian evangelist has right to go to present his Christianity to Muslims.
That's unheard of.
Yeah, that's right there. I mean, the people are open. And there is a freedom in Kuwait, by the way. And there is a local church in Kuwait. And the pastor is Kuwaiti. His name is Emmanuel Garib, still there. I mean, the people are sensing very good freedom. And the people, by the way, the one you saw, they hosted me. They would not allow me to pay for the hotel. I mean, they were so generous and kind. So go to the next one, please. That's a copy of the Newsweek full page.
Okay.
Newsweek Arabic. That was our experience in Kuwait. It was just an amazing one. And hopefully we'll visit again Kuwait.
All right, so we are visiting right now with Pastor Amil Haddad. You just saw some of those pictures on the screen of his trip to Egypt and Kuwait. To give you a little idea of the impact that this document right here is making around the world. Outside of the United States, it is making ripple effects beyond anybody's wildest imagination, and it's long overdue. So we're going to continue profiling it, letting you get to know more about this religious rights resolution. It's my subject today on this edition of the Hank Erwin Show. A lot more to come. Don't go away. Welcome back. Hank Erwin right here with you. We are talking about Ambassadors for Peace. That's the name of an organization that is promoting this document right here, a religious rights resolution. It is being promoted by my special guest in the studio, Pastor Amil Haddad of Ambassadors for Peace. We've been talking about the particulars of the document, and we're now letting you hear a little bit more about the impact. Outside the United States, it is having an incredible impact. We just showed you some pictures of what occurred in Egypt and what occurred in Kuwait, and I think now we want to look at what happened over there in Morocco. You just came back from Morocco.
Yes, last November we actually were in Morocco, yes. And in Morocco, actually, this is how it happened. I was interviewed by a channel which broadcast to the Middle East, and the host invited Dr. His name is Buhindi. Now this doctor, he is the head of the comparative religion department in the King Al Hassan University in Casablanca, and he leads a movement. He calls it the future of religions in the Mediterranean area people. And his vision, his idea that all religions are the same. He has good intention. But there's something, is not clear here. So when I was interviewed live on the show, he was interviewed in the phone. I'll show you this picture in a moment. I think that's...
Why don't we go to some of those pictures?
Yeah, I'll talk about that. Mustafa Buhindi. He had a good heart, very, very good man. And as we talked live in the show, and he's in the phone, he said, what Pastor Haddad is saying, all religions must support him. Because what he's calling for is the freedom and peace among people. So as we talked together, he extended an invitation to go to Morocco. So we went, and we spent 2 weeks in Morocco. It was a tremendous experience, Senator, unbelievable. The next picture will show, yes, that is in the University of King Al Hassan II in Casablanca, where he had scholars, researchers, students researching in his area, and we presented our case as this document, and they were so excited about it that in the end they decided to take it as part of the study and see ways to implement this document, not to just to study it but to implement it. And to my this one here is in the Jewish court, law court. Now there is a large Jewish community in Morocco, and they are given the freedom to worship, and they have their own court within the Supreme Court to deal with their civil cases like marriages, inheritance, whatever. And this is the chief rabbi over there. So we took the professor Buhindi and other professor with us, and Gary Ansdale, and we went to the court, and we met with the judges. They received us very well. They were very, very cordial, and when we shared with them the document, they went on it, and the next picture, the chief rabbi put his stamp of approval on it.
How about that?
Yes, and it was a gorgeous meeting. And then Gary Ansdale gave him a verse to read from Jeremiah 29, verse 11. That God has a plan and, for you, to prosper you and to give you hope. And everybody needs hope. I mean, without hope you can't exist. So it was so good to meet with those people. And we extended our visit also to go to Al-Uyun, that's down south of Morocco, where the case of the Polisario, the people of the desert. And the Moroccan government tried to build good relationship with them. They provide them with doctors, and they build more cities and water and so forth. And the festival contained one item on the agenda, that is the religious dialogue. And we presented also our case for Aim for Peace, that people must learn how to live in peace together, regardless to what they believe.
Yeah, and I like that. A lot of people have endorsed your document over here.
Yes. I mean, we have other people endorse the document. Like, for instance, Shimon Aram, a retired Israeli army general. His comments were, the only people who really could speak about peace with authority are the Christians. But where are they? Where are they silent? Bishop Monoya from Azusa Pacific, for instance. Haytham Bindukji, he is the chairman of the largest Islamic center on the West Coast. He signed on it and he endorsed it. The mayor of Bellflower, Scott Larson, he endorsed it as well. In fact, he's a member on the board with us.
Oh, okay.
Then perhaps you know this person, Dr. Douglas Johnson, the president of the International Center of Religious Diplomacy. He also gave us good letter of recommendation, endorsement. And of course, the Church of God, Anderson, Indiana. We received endorsement from David Wynn, who is the executive director. And then Jim Toll, who is the pastor of Church in the Way. It's about 22,000 members in it. Brad Dacus, the president of Pacific Justice, and several more. And
so there's been a large group of people since you started this movement,
yes, indeed,
who have signed on their endorsement of it to say that we appreciate it, we believe in what you're trying to do, and count us in.
Including you.
That's right. I'm a part of that.
Being with you, just tell us that you really approve of it and you endorse it.
That's right. Well,
yes.
I'm going to do something special right here. I'm going to sign my name to it.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to put it on this document right here, and I'm going to sign my name to say I support this idea, and I want to be added to the list. And you can take this back and put it in the documents to say that State Senator from Alabama likes what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
We believe in it.
Thank you so much, Senator. That's wonderful.
Yes,
we appreciate that.
I think the idea is novel. It is intriguing, and it's bold, and it's daring, and I like that. And it seeks not to establish a one-world religion, but it seeks to establish the idea of let's talk about our differences without fighting over it. That's, I think, what the key to the concept of all of it is.
Exactly, yes. When we meet with people, we really don't make apology about it. My friend, I know what your book is calling me. Your book called me that I am infidel, I'm no good, I'm going to hell. That's fine. That's your book says that. Also, my book says there's no salvation without Jesus. There's extreme differences here. But the key is you and I, how do we relate to each other? You know, when Jesus said, love your enemy, and more than that, here's something that I like the, especially Christian leaders, to pay attention to this. The Lord Jesus in Matthew 5:25 said, when you have adversary, someone you are in conflict with, remember that verse? Try to settle with him before you get to court. Why did he say that? He knows that in our life we are going to have conflict with people. Religious conflict, personal, whatever it is. Try to talk to your opponent. Try to talk to the one who is opposing you. There is nothing wrong with a Christian leader to sit with a Muslim leader and say, my friend, we know we're not in agreement in our religion. We know they are different. But why should we hate each other? As a Christian, I cannot hate. In fact, I have no enemies. When he said, love your enemies, therefore people are my friends. So why should be animosity or dislikes or tension? So this is what we are after.
I'm talking with Pastor Emil Haddad. He's my special guest. He's visiting Birmingham from Los Angeles. He's the pastor of the Bellflower Church of God in Southern California. We're talking about his document, the Religious Bill Resolution. You can see it right there on the internet. That's the address. Dial it up and read the rest of the document. We're going to come back with some final thoughts on today's edition of the Hank Erwin Show. Want you to stay with us. Don't go away. Welcome back. Hank Erwin right here with you. We've been talking today on the show about a religious rights resolution that is the brainchild of Pastor Emil Haddad, who's in the studio with me. He is from Southern California. He's visiting Birmingham. This is his first visit to bring to our attention this document, this unique novel document that seeks to try to bring freedom of religion around the world. And that is a novel concept outside of the United States. And I want you to pray for him, that the Lord will use him. And matter of fact, there's one thing I'm so appreciative of what you're doing. I wanted to give you something. This is unusual. We don't do this on my show, but for you, I want to do this. I have a document right here from the state of Alabama. This is a resolution commending you, and I'm going to read it. It says, commending Pastor Emil Haddad for work toward world peace. And it reads like this: whereas highest commendations are due to Pastor Emil Haddad of the Bellflower Church of God for his tireless efforts toward world peace, and whereas Pastor Emil Haddad's ministry has taken him through North America, Europe, Middle East, Asia, and he continues to travel the world with the resolve of seeing people live with mutual respect and acceptance regardless of religious affiliation, and whereas he affirms mankind's common humanity and the inalienable rights of all individuals, and has resolved to oppose violence, hate crimes, and religious persecution. And whereas his mandate is that all may coexist with religious freedom, respect, and open dialogue, now therefore be it resolved by the Senate of the Legislature of the State of Alabama that it is a privilege to recognize and commend Pastor Emil Haddad for his dedicated efforts on behalf of religious freedom and world peace. And by a copy of this resolution, we extend our best wishes for success in his endeavors. And it's signed McDowell Lee, Secretary of the Senate of the State of Alabama.
Thank you
and I wanted to present it to you.
Thank you.
And let you have that and take that back to your ministry in Southern California.
Thank you so much.
Knowing that we're praying for you.
Thank you so much. I am really honored. Thank you, Senator.
Well, that's very good.
Appreciate
There's
that.
one other thing I want you to do. This is a lapel pin from the state of Alabama. I want you to wear it on your collar as an ambassador from the state of Alabama as well, to say that the people in Alabama are supportive of your ministry, and we want you to do well and have God's blessing on your travels.
Thank you so much. Can I wear it now?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Put that on. Just tear that
Thank
open
you.
and put that on, and we may put them in that plastic, but
That's all right. Thank you
go
so
ahead
much.
and put that on and wear it with joy and great pride that we appreciate what you're doing. This is a great movement, Ambassadors for Peace, and it is available for you to look at on the internet. Let's put the internet address back up on the screen, and folks, if you want to look and learn more about this, it's called am4peace.com. That's the website, and it's for the Ambassadors for Peace organization, and you can read the religious rights resolution that's been constructed by Pastor Emil Haddad and also his colleague Gary Ansdale. Last thoughts. I mean, where to from here?
Well, we have several countries are targeted, and we hope they will open. And we shy away from telling specifically.
Sure.
But we have talked to the ambassadors of that land, and the amazing thing, everyone we talked to, he was positive. But sort of, the idea is still strange, Senator. People are not catching it yet. But the more we talk about it, the more their mind is getting to accept it and think of it. But we have overseas, I'm going to be leaving the 22nd of this month till February, then I'll be back. That's what we do.
Well, we're glad to have you in the
Thank
state
you.
of Alabama.
Thank you so much.
You are always welcome here, and
Thank
you
you.
come back anytime. You're always welcome in our state.
Same thing. You're welcome to come and preach anytime in our church.
All right. Well, that's a deal. I'll take you up on that.
Bless your
Well,
heart. Thank you.
that is Pastor Emil Haddad, and I want you to pray for him that the Lord will continue to bless his organization, Ambassadors for Peace. Well, that's our show. We got to go. It's always good to visit with you. We'll be back at this same time again tomorrow. Until our next visit, this is Hank Erwin saying God bless you and God bless Alabama. Bye-bye.